It goes back to what you said though, that's what real leaders do. Like leaders don't follow what's trending. Like leaders are focused on transformation, and then they're dedicated to transformation, and they're going to keep doing it until they see a change. Whereas followers follow trends, and it's not trending now, it doesn't matter, we'll focus on something else. But obviously it's so clear, just listening to you today, and it's amazing because, and that's why I'm so glad I've had this opportunity to talk to you, because I can hear just how deeply dedicated you are to this and how it's at your core. It's like, it's everything that comes out of your pores today is just, which is really special to see a value being embodied. Like to empower other people, you have to embody the value first. You don't just go around empowering people. And so to hear how your soul and heart is like completely a sponge for this stuff, and then to wanting to go and share it with the world, it's really remarkable, man.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm by far perfect.
No.
And I think that's like, it's not about being perfect. It's about just every day, one step at a time, trying to be better, trying to do more.
Yeah.
And I'm learning a lot about myself. I've had to break myself down in order to be able to be better. And
what do you mean by breaking yourself down?
Well, just when I told you about like all those barriers you put up over time to protect yourself, and then kind of like knocking those barriers down.
Yes.
And it's enabled me to connect with more people. It's enabled me to realize my place in the world. And I don't feel like I don't belong anymore. I feel like, I've got a place and I've got a purpose. And I think a lot of people are struggling to find that purpose, but it's okay. You will find it. Do not give up. Keep getting up, just keep saying those things to yourself and you will eventually find it. And, you're already living in your purpose and are having such a huge impact on so many people, telling stories, which it's amazing to see. I started this production company inspired by like Kobe and so many out there, but stories for me, storytelling, I watch a lot of movies. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I love movies, especially sports movies.
Yeah, like when I go home, I'll order takeaway or make myself some pasta or something like that. And then I put the plate in front of me and I can't eat till I found something to watch.
Yeah.
Like my escape is watching the movie, and I always like to find something hopefully inspiring.
Yeah, same.
But the reason I created this production company is because, until recently we didn't have any people of color as superheroes. I think these storytelling is so important for people out there, for inspiring people, and I want to make sure that in everything that I do, every project that I work on is with a diverse workforce. Like I'm doing this Formula 1 movie with Brad Pitt and Joe Kosinski, and but my job is to make sure that it's diverse behind the camera as it is on screen. The story is empowering and uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
There's no BS in terms of the racing, and hopefully one kid will watch it or more and feel empowered to go and do something great.
Absolutely. I love that, man. I'm so glad you're doing that, because when you said, do I like movies? The movie that came to my mind was Race. Have you seen Race?
Mm-hmm, of course.
Yeah. So like that, the story is unbelievable, but when you watch the movie as well, it's unbelievable to see what Jesse Owens did. Like to think that he had to go.
I can't even imagine.
You just can't imagine. If anyone's not seen the movie, you have to go see the movie.
You have to go and see it.
It's just one of those movies that's like, how do you do that? Like, how do you go and race in Nazi Germany? Like, I have
it must have been terrifying.
Terrifying.
And, there's so many great stories like that are out there that need telling.
Yeah.
Continuously telling.
Yeah. 42 is another one.
Yeah. 42 is awesome.
Yeah, 42 is such a great movie.
But yeah, there are these really unique people out there. I think for me, being in this sport, being the only one and being the first that has been lonely.
Yeah.
And that has been really, really a difficult thing to kind of understand and through my life. And there are many, many people like Jesse, for example, being the first and only at the time. I've taken huge inspiration from him. Nelson Mandela was like, he's one of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah.
I was so fortunate to get to meet him when I was like 23 or something.
Oh, wow. What was that like? Yeah.
It was mind blowing. I mean, when you then I got to Formula 1 and you have the success, all these things come and you've dreamed of being a racing driver, but you didn't dream that all the other things that come along, like meeting other unbelievable people. I went to Nelson Mandela's 90th birthday in London and I was sat on his table in this huge room full of like, Bill Clinton was there, like Denzel Washington was there. Oprah Winfrey sat right next to me. Like all these people that you would never ever in a million years dream of think you would ever get to meet.
Yeah.
And then you discover they're also just human beings with feelings and with emotions and with their own challenges. But I was so young at the time. It was I don't even recognize myself. When I look back at me 7 years ago, I see a shell of me. And I think I look today and see myself and know myself so much more. And that's an empowering experience to be in. But
yeah,
I walked into the room and met him, and he sat in his chair, and it was like walking into, I was like God or like a king, you know, and his silk shirt was, his aura was something, you could see his aura, his smile, he was beaming. That was probably the most impactful day for me as a youngster.
Wow. Lewis, it's unbelievable talking to you. I mean, what you've achieved on the track, off the track, and now I'm even more excited to see you continue to achieve as your journey continues, because I'm going to say this, and I don't say this often, and I genuinely, and my team can vouch for it, and everyone else can listen back to any episode. I think you're one of the most on-purpose people I've ever interviewed. Ever.
I appreciate that. No.
Like, I genuinely, like, it just, there's nothing else that comes from your being apart from what your purpose currently is with Mission 44. And it's really remarkable to meet someone who's so on purpose. I genuinely don't have that experience. And the only person you reminded me of was Kobe. He had it too. When I was around him, there was nothing else. It wasn't like he missed anything. He was at peace. It was peace with purpose, you know, and you have that same aura and spirit from at least my experience.
Thank you so much. It's so kind of you.
Yeah, and I really mean that. It's incredible. So we end every episode with a fast 5, which means every question has to be answered in 1 word to 1 sentence maximum.
Okay.
And we ask these same questions to every guest that's ever been on the show.
I should be prepared for that because I've seen you. So. Well, no.
The first question is, what's the best advice you've ever heard or received?
I think it was literally my dad, never give up. That's been like the slogan in the back of my mind every single day. The other one would be just that you'll always be learning. And that's what I learned from Nelson Mandela. He was like, I'm 90 and I'm still learning today. And like, I was like, what can you tell me? It's like, I'm still learning today and it's okay to be learning. You're always going to be learning something new and growing. So.
Wow, that's beautiful. I love it.
Not really like wow, but like, it's pretty basic. But.
No, but it's not. It's powerful knowing he said that.
Yeah.
As in the fact that he said that on his 90th birthday.
At 90,
that is powerful because
got a long way to go.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of people, I feel like a lot of people feel by 90, especially him, he has so much wisdom to share.
Yeah.
But the fact that his wisdom was, I'm just learning, I'm still learning. That's pretty cool. All right, second question. What's the worst advice you ever heard or received?
Give up. It's just
the opposite, yeah.
Yeah, literally the worst bit of advice. And it wasn't necessarily advice, but when I was younger, there was other parents of other racing drivers I was racing against. I remember this one guy and he's like, you just don't have it. You should just give up.
Their parents were saying
the parents, a grown man in his 40s or 50s told me that. And I was 8.
Told you?
Told me, yeah, to my face. And I remember just being so like, what am I supposed to do with that? What do you mean, give up?
What was the reason?
I would imagine because I was beating his kid. Maybe, I don't know. I never really thought of what the reason would be. And the same with teachers, you know.
Yeah.
What is this crap? You know, you're terrible at this. You're never going to go to the next set. You're never going to amount to anything. Why are you even here? I had a teacher tell me that. And wow, it broke me down so much. Question
number 3. How do you deal with loss and how do you deal with a win?
I think success is, as I mentioned earlier, short-lived. Success is, there's a lot less learned in success. It's like the tip of the iceberg. It's the losses and it's the failures and it's the continuously, just the perseverance that you need to do. Like, I love that image of the iceberg where you see the sea level and the iceberg on the top that everyone sees, but below is what people don't get to see. And it's relevant for every single person out there. Mm-hmm. It's finding your core. It's letting yourself know it's okay to feel the pain. It's okay to accept that your failures and, you know, put it on you. It's like it's just another notch on your belt that is going to make you stronger. And just knowing that is the case. Mm-hmm. I've failed so many more times than I've succeeded. So many more. And that people don't even know maybe necessarily about or see. and still today I'm making those those mistakes or making mistakes. But I know that that's a part of the journey. That's what I'm then harnessing, and that's what's making me stronger.
All right, question number 4 out of 5. What's something that you thought you valued but you don't value anymore?
Immaterial stuff. At some stage in your life, you realize they're not important. And we live in such a materialistic world. So learning to detach yourself from that and know that it's moments with special people, it's moments with your family, with your loved ones, with your friends, that are what you get to take with you when you stop, when life comes to an end, right? I truly believe that it's those memories that are what, memories of you also, which lingers, not what you had or what you were able to attain. So I think that was something that took me a long time to learn. And whilst I still have things, I've actually tried to unclutter my life, because I remember my dad used to call me into the garage and we used to go through all the crap that he would keep. I don't know if your parents do the same thing.
Yeah.
Jeez, I remember he used to call me and it was the worst day ever when I had to help him clean out the garage. But we hold on to so many things, right?
Yeah.
So just decluttering your life, making it more simple. That's why I love going surfing. That's like the most tranquil kind of thing that I get to do. Sit in the ocean and sometimes just sit and ponder about life, what I'm going to do next. And that's my getaway. I think people have to find that balance of work, because if you just work, and you don't replenish your energy with positive things, then you will just continue to be breaking yourself down. So I try and find that balance. I think everyone needs to do that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Surfing, skydiving, those are yours. 5th and final question. If you could create one law that everyone in the world had to follow, what would it be?
Holy crap. One of the things that I struggle with every day is, and it's just how life is, and it's been the way for thousands of years, that there is such a disparity between wealthy and the poor. And, you still, when you drive around LA, there's still so many people living on the streets. You shouldn't be able to have billions, right? I think there should be a limit to how much you can have, because there's enough to go around to everyone. So somehow creating a law that creates more equality, and equal access for everyone. I don't know how that you would implement that law.
That's all good.
But geez, man, I've met kids that are starving.
Yeah, same.
And you think, oh God, how are we are so lucky, so many of us, and knowing that and not taking advantage of your everyday is so important.
It does.
What law would you change?
It does. No, I think that's beautiful. Now you flipped it on me. All right, yeah. I see what you did there. If I had to create a law in the world that everyone had to follow, this is at least my today answer, and maybe it would change as well, is and it's inspired by what we're talking about. I think I wish at school the law was that every child had to learn about emotional mastery, to understand how to understand other people's emotions and understand their emotions, and take that into consideration when making decisions. And if every child was given that exposure to emotional mastery, then people would just have tools of how to deal with their own pain and someone else's pain, and how to deal with when your parents are going through pain, because I feel like pain is the issue. We have any pain today.
That's so good, man. I told you not to come up with something even greater.
No, but it's inspired by you.
You're so right.
It's inspired by you. It's going back to education.
That's why, when you go to school, you don't learn all they don't prepare you enough for what's to come.
Not at all.
And that's tapping into mental health, as you mentioned.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of where my purpose is, right? My purpose is that feeling of, when I lived as a monk, that's where I got exposed to emotional mastery. That was the goal of what monk training was about. And I was 21, 22 when I did that.
Wow.
That's still young.
Shows a lot about you, yeah.
Yeah, but it was kind of like a fascination that I had. I was just like, well, if I can't understand my mind, then how can you live life like that? So anyway, it comes from what you're saying, that the education that needs to happen at a younger level. So Lewis, it has been such an honor and a pleasure talking to you today, my man. It's a huge responsibility that you've taken on for yourself, for the world, and I don't think there could be anyone better doing it. And I really, really hope that any help that I can offer, any help that my community can offer, please know that we're right here with you and
Thank you.
right behind you. So
thank you so much.
Our On Purpose community, I know, would love to get behind anything that we can.
Yeah, dude, I'm so grateful for the time you give me today.
Yeah.
And again, for like what you do, because you're having such a positive impact on so many people, including me. You know, so when you perhaps don't realize it, you're having such a big impact. And I'm so grateful to you for that, mate.
Thank you, man. It means the world coming from you, honestly. Thank you. Everyone who's been listening and watching today, make sure you go get educated about Mission 44, about the Hamilton Commission, really incredible initiatives that Lewis started that are leading the way to make sure that diversity and inclusion are taken more seriously across all industries, which I think we would all agree with. And to anyone else who's watching or listening, make sure you tag Lewis and I on social media with your biggest insights. There were so many words of wisdom that Lewis shared. I want to know which things stuck out to you, which things made a difference in your mind. And the biggest thing is I want you to pass this on to someone, right? There's someone who needs to hear Lewis's story that's going to transform their life. And I want you to pass it on. He shared so many people that inspired him. We know he's a huge inspiration to so many. Make sure you share this with someone because you have no idea whose life you might change. Thank you so much.